join me in welcoming to the stage Ashley Epstein, Matt Landry, James Arnold Taylor, and Team Bradley Baker.
Hello there.
Yeah.
You all have coffee in hand? Been here a while.
We were just saying, it's actually really quiet backstage, and we're like, is anyone here?
Yeah. They were like, there's a lot of people. I'm like, you're lying to me.
Wow, thank you so much for coming so early this morning. Megacon's really showing up.
Yeah, I know we can't see. Can they turn those up just for a second so we can see all of you?
Yeah, we can't see the back.
Oh, because there's no one back. Oh, look at you! That's a lot of people out there. There's a baby. Wait, that was a very Simba-like. All of this will be yours one day.
So how has the weekend been for the four of you? Has it been kind of this like celebration of 15 years of the Clone Wars? If my math is right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It has been a big celebration, and celebrations have been on this stage before. How many were at celebrations before? Yeah, it's like old times. But this is your stomping ground here.
This is. I am so proud to be from Orlando, Florida. This is my hometown con, and I'm so proud of it. I literally grew up 10 minutes down the road from here.
And look at you now.
Ashley told me Disney, Orlando, and all things this area are her love language.
It is. Disney magic is my love language. So, yeah. Happy to have the boys here.
Yeah, I worked here half my life ago, doing lots of different shows. And in a way, it was a training ground for me because my first gig was a television series called Legends of the Hidden Temple. The gig was to do all these different voices, and I had to keep all these voices very, very different. So here I am with Clone Wars, with essentially the same mission, just a different tone to it a little bit.
So I have a very selfish question as a Clone Wars fan, and I know this is probably not easy to answer, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So of all of the like impactful, iconic moments that you have been a part of in the Star Wars saga, do you have a favorite?
We all have different favorites, I think.
So, like, whatever arc, beat, moment your character got to play, do you have a favorite?
Well, okay, I'm asked this question a lot, and
Here we go.
it's not that deep, man. My favorite Ahsoka moment is when she walks away from the Jedi Order at the end of season 5. For her personally, I think that moment is such a pivotal moment in her storyline. But for Star Wars, I think the Ahsoka Vader duel
I was gonna
in
say.
Star Wars.
It was so short, but like the meaning behind it was just so heartbreaking.
Yes. So can I tell a little secret I haven't told before? Well, it's not really a secret.
Are we announcing a new show?
But I haven't even told you all this. So I just launched a new collection. Getting undressed, but here, let me show. Hold on. So this shirt I'm wearing is part of a new I Am No Jedi collection that just launched in Disney Parks. But this is a script page.
How did you get to do
That's
that?
what I haven't told y'all yet. Okay, so I'm probably breaking some sort of NDA by sharing this.
All right, nobody's filming this.
But, you know,
Camera right there.
I had the idea, at these cons, I realized, I'm like, what's a collectible that you all don't have, that we have access to? And I got to thinking about our scripts. And I'm like, wow, the fans have never seen our scripts. And they're really cool. But for us, when we were recording Clone Wars, our scripts were taken away from us. And so we don't even have them. Like literally they were FedExed to us or given to us as we entered the room. And then when we left, they were taken away. Well, for some of the later seasons and
You stole it.
no, but they were emailed to us, very strictly password protected. So I decided to do a little email search and found the episode Twilight of the Apprentice, and I was like, let me just test this out, and found our script, and then found the script page of this scene where Ahsoka and Vader duel. And so I was like, let's turn this into a collection. And so this is the actual script page that we recorded off of. So yes, hopefully, I'm not in trouble by that. But y'all have seen it, it's long gone. But yes, so long story short of answering your question, I think for the overall Star Wars story,
I'm getting a call from Dave Filoni.
the Ahsoka Vader duel is pretty, impactful.
I'm partial to the Duchess of Tea. So those stories always meant a lot to me. And The Lawless is, everybody asks what's your favorite, and I say The Lawless because it's my least favorite and my most favorite because it's beautiful, it's tragic, and it's so important to Obi-Wan's storyline, and so bittersweet. And I did not, speaking of what Ashley's talking about, literally that day I walked in, had no idea. And I did not know, spoiler alert, sorry, I didn't know until the direction in it said what happens. So you hear Obi-Wan will say this, he says, Sati, under his breath. That was me reading. And no, Sati. And they used that. It's really cool, that they took all those little moments because I was as shocked as everybody else. And a grave scene. But I did not know what was going to happen to her. Maul.
I'm partial myself, just selfishly, to the sacrifice of clones, the heroic sacrifices that they go through, and to choose just one, it's hard not to choose the death of Fives. He made it that close, and he almost made it, and it's just the saddest Star Wars moment to me of them all, and it's so heartbreaking. But the other two, I got to throw in the sacrifice of 99. And no reason to the sacrifice of tech. It's been a year of counseling that continues. I'm available for grief counseling all day. But the clones aside, I'm going to throw out that I was really excited when Darth Vader reappeared in Rebels, and just how frightening and formidable that guy appeared. I found that really exciting. I love that.
That's the Matt Lanter experience.
Not impressed.
That's like the nicest guy.
Matt, how about you? Is it the Ahsoka Vader?
Yeah, I think the Ahsoka Vader thing, just because of what that means and the history that those two have, to see them squaring off, and he's so gone. And the moment where he says Ahsoka, it's a kind of a fun, like nerdy debate. Was he actually sort of reaching out and saying that as Anakin, or was he almost baiting her as Vader, because he's just completely gone to kind of, you know, let her guard down and then.
What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know.
Come on.
No, somebody asked this actually, and I wasn't sure. I don't know, maybe I mean a little bit more, I want to believe there's good, but I don't know. He was just so clouded at that moment that it might have been baiting her. Sorry.
So we have, you know, about 1,000 people in this room, all of whom are massive Clone Wars fans, I'm sure. And some of whom maybe would like to ask you guys some questions. So for all of you in the audience, we've got one mic on this side and one mic on that side, and just so we can get through as many as possible, let's keep them brief, let's keep them full.
Extra points if it's a new question you've never heard before.
That's right.
And I see a couple people as you're lining up holding posters. So I want to make sure everyone gets one. It's our gift to you. Thank you. It says loyalty means everything. And that's from the line, loyalty means everything to the clones, but it means everything to us. So thank you for your support over the past 15 plus years. Original art that we teamed up with Danny Haas to do just for you. So thank you so much.
Why don't we start on the left?
How we doing? It's good to see you all. I just wanted to thank Ashley again, real quick, for recording just a little minute video of some advice to my middle school students I teach yesterday. I can't wait to show some of them. And so, it's been 15 years, and you know, I grew up with Clone Wars, and now I'm teaching a group of students that are 12, 13, and it's a whole new generation of fans that are growing up with Clone Wars. So I would just love to hear you guys reflect on that, and then like what that means to you, and then also looking 15, 20 years in the future, what do you hope the legacy of Clone Wars is for even more generations to come?
Gosh, yeah.
Not a loaded question at all, I'm sorry.
Take your time. We're going to be here a while.
I mean, 15 years ago. Okay, let me look at this just from an Anakin perspective. I haven't seen all of the series of Ahsoka, but I know what's in there. And I think it's such an honor that some of the Clone Wars material is now being used to shape that character for the future. So, you know, as a contribution of that, you know, that's really an honor to be helping shape the character for what's to come for Anakin. Hopefully, we see more of that character. I would love that. But yeah, so in the next 15 years, I love that the Clone Wars filled in so many gaps for so many people on a character level, on a story level, and you know, all kinds of stuff. So.
20 years, we're going to be wheeled out.
Corey Burton said, I'm done talking. Hello, guys. Hello there?
It's hello there.
Oh.
Every time I tell you.
What?
It's hello there.
Where?
And I have a pencil to write it down for you. This will be this will be our glory in 2 or 3 decades. We're never going to stop this. Yeah, I mean the love of these stories. I don't think it's ever going to wane. I think it's going to continue to grow and to build, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of that. And I can't see that doing anything but continuing to blossom well into the future. Just many years coming.
And one thing I'll share specifically about Ahsoka, because I've had this conversation with a couple of you. What many of you might not realize, and I didn't realize at first, is that Ahsoka is meant to be the eyes of the audience. So you are meant to experience the Clone Wars through Ahsoka's eyes. And that's why we all feel so connected to her. Because as we're watching this war play out, we're seeing loss, we're seeing failure, we're seeing hope, we're grieving with Ahsoka through her eyes. And so that's why there's such a deep emotional connection, and that's also why I say Ahsoka lives in all of us now, because it has been an entire generation, and we feel fortunate that Clone Wars has been the Star Wars for an entire generation, because really, you know, the lessons that we learn from Star Wars are so beautiful and life-changing. And there's going to be, I mean, we're already watching it, The Mandalorian. There's the next round of stories, the next generation of stories, where that generation, that's going to be their Star Wars. And so it's going to continue. You know, what is that next generation of Star Wars? And we're very grateful that we got to continue the Star Wars stories for a whole generation of fans.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a friend of mine, Sohaib, he's a podcaster, blogger and such, and back when we were making this, he said, you know, 10 years from now, kids are gonna say, I grew up with this, and it changed the face of animation, and it did. Now we are 15 years later, it changed the face of animation. They created different ways to animate things for this, because George Lucas had the ability to do that, and now all these shows are different because of Clone Wars, and so it has changed the face of all of it. And I'm just so grateful, because when I was a kid and I watched everything from, you know, Bugs Bunny and all of that, what's up, Doc? And that was changing my world. And you're going, hello there, and that's changing your world, because we're all affected by this in a positive way. So it's wonderful. It's a great honor to be a part of it.
Thank you guys.
We'll now transition to yes/no questions only.
I hate to break it to you, but it's going to be more than that for me. But I wanted to start by saying thank you so much for the hard work and determination, perseverance you all had for these characters that, I'm sure I speak for a lot of people here, that have been truly life-changing for us and have changed the way that we view the world. But my question is, it's a unique opportunity to have all of you here together. I think that's one of the things that makes your characters so amazing, beyond their individual strengths, is the strength of your group. What do you think is the most defining characteristic or favorite characteristic that you have? You mentioned loyalty means everything, but I want to hear from you guys what you think on that.
We are a family. I mean, we really are a family. We contact each other.
We're an ensemble.
All the time, holidays, and all our families are up there together.
We really love each other, even though we're like sitting like this on the couch. It's really like, you know, we like being close.
We all live in the house together.
Take your pictures.
Yeah, I think, well, when you have that poster made with Danny, and I saw that line, I thought, well, that's like our line, you know, it's not, but it's from the show. So yeah, I think there's a blend there. It's, you know, except for the, you know, the bad Anakin stuff, we're all like our characters. I think we try to be. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like bad Anakin.
I know. Are you sitting in
Thank
set?
you.
I have a question, but first I wanted to say I really appreciate about Clone Wars how much you guys are able to just tell this beautiful story between episode 2 and episode 3 and beyond. And that's just something I always really appreciated about Clone Wars. It just adds so much depth to those movies as well, so thank you for doing that. But my question is for D. Bradley Baker, aka Rex, Cody, everyone. And a lot more. Maybe rest in peace, maybe. So my question for you, so you play.
Scream in the background every time you say text name.
So you play a lot of different characters, and that's fascinating to me. So what are some things that you do to be able to play such a variety of different characters that are all the same person? Like, how do you do that? How's that been for you?
Well, voice actors it's really the DNA of our job is to be able to switch from character to character. most any animation gig that you have, you're going to be probably doing 2 or 3 voices, and that really comes down to the specificity of imagination, and also having a grasp of sort of the inner palette of voices that are within you. We all contain multitudes within us, and it is our job to sort of gain control of that and awareness of that so that we can regulate it and let those jump out as whole, defined characters. And the longer you work, the more you get used to this. So it's just easy. You're just jumping from one to the other because the thing that makes it seem like a magic trick is it's coming out of a single human. But as the actor, you see these characters as their own individual entities. And you just snap from one to the other like you're throwing a switch. And it looks like a magic trick, but it feels easy to do once you have that kind of facility. It's like
If you're D. Bradley Baker.
It's like a joke, it's like, what is he talking
Man,
about?
there's so much science to it. I just think of the one and then it comes out.
Yeah, well, it's intuitive, ultimately. It is. It's ultimately an intuitive thing. But you kind of work out at the gym of being an actor and of improvisation, and you just kind of develop those muscles so that it's an easy, instantaneous jump from one to the other. That's how it plays out for me.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being out here this weekend. My question for all of you, you're all very talented actors, not just in Star Wars, but in other roles as well. Is there anything, any particular lessons you feel you learned during your time at Clone Wars that has helped you in all of your different acting roles?
How about you two? Because you're on-camera actors, and then go into voiceover, and then on camera back and forth. Does it help with that?
Yeah, sure. I feel like exercising the voice acting really helps you gain and control your voice on camera and what subtleties and fluctuation, volume, and other things that normally pertain to voice acting can do for a character on camera. It means a lot. So yeah, that's a big thing that I feel like I've gotten to work on.
The thing for me that was absolutely terrifying, and I'm not gonna go back to the early days and share the stories I remember, standing in front of D. Bradley Baker, who is just a veteran in our field, and the hardest part was having to make all the sounds for when you're fighting or falling.
And then when he would go, when you do it.
I wasn't very supportive.
He was. It was just terrifying because they're so good at what they do. And when you're a live action actor, which Matt and I, pretty much all of our work was live action. If you are fighting, you're really fighting. You're not standing behind a microphone keeping your face still. And so I'll never forget when Dave Filoni, it was early on, I forget which episode, it might have been the Geonosian Queen episode, which Dee was just so brilliant in. But Dave said, okay, Ashley, Ahsoka gets picked up by this giant bug thing, flown across the I don't know, it wasn't even a room, but cavern or whatever it was, dropped, 50 feet, or, then she rolls 3 times and hits the wall, go. What does that sound like? And you have to do it, and you have to get it right within like 3 takes. And so it was terrifying, but you had to learn to be like, it's scary, and then you also look really silly. So if you want to be a voice actor, don't be afraid to look silly. and just go for it.
That felt like a 40-foot fall. I'm looking for a 50-foot fall. And take two.
Oh, I only got 3 takes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, it's nice to talk to all. Really appreciate again the gift you gave us all. My question for all of you, over the course of the Clone Wars and Rebels and even Tales of the Jedi, there's great writers and directors, so when you're recording, there's a script, but with your understanding of the characters and your professionals, you're trained in your craft, have you been able to influence your characters, maybe through your performance, or have writers kind of bounced off of your performance, and if so, what was some of that we saw in the finished product?
Yeah, I mean, I would say as a voice actor, as a creative person, you don't come to the table as a passive entity. You come with active ideas, and often there's pushback, especially with a character that you've helped establish or that has a legacy of seasons behind you in terms of what this character might say or might do, and that may vary from the script itself. So that's part of our job, is to offer our opinion on that and to maybe try to make the case, but work that out with whoever's writing and directing this. So it's a collaborative effort. I mean, for the most part, what you see is what was written, but we're adding seasoning to that, and sometimes we do work over scenes to make sure that we hone that just right. And that may end up being a little bit different from how it was originally written.
I feel like that's something that Dave Filoni was always very encouraging of all of us, especially as we got into our seasons, is he would say, please, I encourage you to breathe, make sounds, say it like you feel like Anakin would say it, or what sounds better to you, what do you think should be said? And I feel like he really gave us a lot of trust, and it was a very collaborative effort.
Yeah, we'd have these little things where would Obi-Wan say something like that, and he'd go, Kenobi it out, James, a little Kenobi. And so, but there was one time I remember we did where Obi-Wan said, you lie, I think to Darth Maul. You lie. And I thought it sounded weird, like, And I said to Dave, I'm like, it just doesn't sound right. He goes, just read it. I'm like, okay. No, so we went back and forth on that. And we tried to find the balance where it's still Obi-Wan, but it's also what's written on the page. And most of the time, though, it'd be like, yeah, just change it. Just say it how you want to say it. But I think we all have that freedom.
Yeah, and that's why I hope we can share, now that they're out there, more of our scripts, because while we didn't write the show, we absolutely had leeway to how we say it, and Dave was always, he wanted us to give our own interpretation, but oftentimes what it would say in the description, like the stage directions, or, it says, Ahsoka furiously says, half the time he's like, no, don't pay attention to that. What do you think it would sound like? How would your character say it? And so, that's where there's a big difference between what the writers write, but then how it's performed.
The words in a script are more of the vehicle, but they're not the destination.
Wow, he's
so
just like,
we're
Here on the Actors Studio.
But you steer it in the place that it needs to go. But it's not, the vehicle is not the destination. The words are not the destination.
I sense a new t-shirt.
I love it. Which, this is a total shameless plug, but you are wearing our Captain Rex. And her universe is here, right across from our autograph tables, and there's a lot of Clone Wars merch. Like, for example, jacket. So definitely check it out, because there's stuff for all of our characters.
On the right, go ahead.
I have a question for D. Bradley Baker. So you've brought so many different clones to life and given them distinct personalities and characteristics.
do you personally have a favorite clone?
Well, look, I would say that I'm probably closest to 99 and 10. I mean, I relate to those two the most. Not just vocally, but also just I feel a bit of an underdog and an outsider, and always have. Because most of the clones, they're so physically capable and able that I don't relate to them as much. But each one contains this kind of aspirational heroism for me. That they're just such great guys, almost all of them anyway. And I wish that I were them. I wish that I could be them. I really wish I were Wrecker. I want to be Wrecker. I'm probably the furthest from Wrecker. But this kind of simple joy and innocence and sense of fun that he has in the face of change or danger is really cool. So I really admire him a lot.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ashley, Matt, Dee. Nice to meet you. James, nice to see you again after 2 years. So, my question is, when you got the script for the episode Deception, what was your reaction to Obi-Wan faking his death to perform an inside job?
I'll tell you, that was so your reaction.
The camera's rolling.
I thought it was really cool. You know, one cool thing that happened with that is Rako Hardin. And again, we got the script the day of. I remember Dee and I had a lot of lines in that one. And we get the script, we're looking through it, and I'm going, okay, well, where's Obi-Wan? Where's Obi-Wan? Where's Obi-Wan? Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's not dead. Oh, I'm Rako Hardin. I'm not Rako Hardin. I am Rako Hardin.
And did you have a moment where you actually thought, oh, they've killed Obi-Wan?
I did. How did they do that? But the voice of Rako Hardin was great because George Lucas said he didn't want it to be me. And Dave said, well, that's okay, I still want you to do it. I just got it.
Your Dave Filoni sounds like Truman Capote.
With a little David Spade. But, so, I
killed Obi-Wan Kenobi. I did this Rako Hardin voice.
And then he said, okay, I know you can do it.
So I did all these lines like that.
And then they played it for George, and they said, what do you think? He said, it's great. So Dave Filoni and George Lucas are sitting there talking. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So, you know, but I loved the challenge was, how do you make Rako Hardin sound like Obi-Wan Kenobi when he would call and say, this is bad? So he'd say, this is bad. But I was thinking in my head, this is bad. So it came out, this is bad. And I still had kind of an accent, but not really an accent. It's very complex. And when I got that spider went down my throat and all that was really fun too. Because I did all
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the Johnny Test shirt, James.
It's totally awesome, right? So Johnny Test. There you go. Had my time in the sun.
Hi, Ashley, I just want to start by saying thank you for all you do for the mental health community. I actually work as a crisis counselor with kids, so there's a lot of times that I can use lessons learned from Clone Wars to connect with kiddos that I work with. So I wanted to know what your guys' favorite lesson learned or mental health tidbit is that your character learned throughout Clone Wars, Rebels, Tales of the Jedi.
I don't know if I should be commenting on
And a cautionary tale.
that. Leave me out of this one.
Well, I'll start, y'all can think. First of all, thank you, and thank you for what you do. Ahsoka lives in you. You know, my favorite Ahsoka line is from the final season of Clone Wars, where she says, in my life, when you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what. I guess it's just who I am. And when Ahsoka said that line, she was lost. you know, she had walked away from the Jedi Order, walked away from everything that she knew. She had been betrayed. All of her, everything that she thought she knew was false, and I mean, she just was lost and broken. And she didn't know where she was going. And she found herself again by helping others. And I often say, and my parents taught me this, Mama and Papa Tano are there. As well as my sister, who has been helping me out of my TV. Her name is Tara, so we call her Tara Tano. So my mom always taught me that the quickest way to help yourself is to help others. And so if you are going through a hard time, just like Ahsoka, help others. And by helping others, you're going to help yourself.
Amen. Ditto.
Super Soul Sunday.
I also want to highlight the scene in the cave next to the water where Tech is talking to Omega. And a lot of people, there was no scream that time I said his name. This is positive stuff. But there are a lot of people that have approached me since that episode that really pointed out that's like, and they say this again and again, that I felt seen. I am different, I process the world differently, and we can talk that out and come to an understanding that that's just two different people that process differently, and it's all right. And that's a great comfort to realize that, and to be recognized for that, and to be accepted for that.
Thank you guys all for being here. Actually, it's good to see you again. I had the privilege of meeting all you guys years and years ago at Disney Star Wars weekends. And I missed that event as an Orlando local.
Let's bring it back, come on.
And my question for you guys, especially James and Ashley, because I know you guys were so involved with hosting that event. Did any of you guys have any favorite memories from over the years from that event?
Oh my goodness, how much time we got? Well, the cool thing is 2015 was the last one, so it's going to be 10 years next year, so maybe they should bring it back. Frank Oz was one of our last guests, and Frank was amazing. I mean, he's a legend, and that was amazing. Ian McDermott, all those folks, Mark Hamill, everybody that came out, he was always part of these two guys, Tom Kane. I mean, we had Catherine Tabor, we had Clone Wars reunions. That was probably my favorite. I don't know, actually. How about you?
Yeah, you know, it was like our version of summer camp, but we got to go to summer camp at Disney World. We literally all lived together for 6 weeks at Disney World and truly bonded. I mean, I think that's why we're all so close. You don't always get to record in the same studio together. So not only did we get to record together, but because it was Star Wars, we got to do things like Star Wars weekends together. And, you know, yeah, go to Skywalker Ranch and go to Disney World. And so, yeah, those were some of our
We got to be in a parade.
On that note, before, because I know we gotta keep moving, my daughter, Lydia Rose Taylor, grew up going to Star Wars weekends, and it was magic. And so being here has been magical, seeing all of you. She's seen so many of you. She's been my helper at the Comic-Cons this last year. We've all had such a wonderful time. This is her last one, and it's her last day. And next week is her birthday. And she's back there. Can we all just say happy birthday to Lydia?
I love all of you guys so much, and I really like Clone Wars. I just wanted to say that at the beginning. But my question is kind of specific. But my favorite like episode of like everything, like out of everything, is the Solitary Crown episode from season 2 of The Bad Batch. That was the last time that we ever saw Cody, and I kind of like, I know that you might not be able to say anything, but if you do know anything about like where that character's future is going, or like if you want to continue to explore that character, how, or like what you want to see.
Razor on my forehead right now. I mean, it's an enticing episode, an enticing prospect of Cody seeing what the deal is, having a change of heart, which always hits deep in a Star Wars story, and then sets out on his own. I honestly don't know where that goes, but it leaves open a very enticing thread that I hope that Dave and the writers come back to work with someday soon.
I have time for one more question, and then we have to wrap. So I hate that this is the worst part of my rating, is telling people that I have to wrap, but we have time for one more question.
No pressure.
You're good.
My favorite moment was in Rebels, and it was the last battle, because of the underlying tone of Rex dealing with PTS, and it helped me deal with mine, and to explain it to kids in a way that they understand, so that my grandson understands what I went through with that. Thank you. Back to season 7 and filling that gap between Clone Wars and episode 3 after so much time, and even that moment between Rex and Ahsoka on the bridge when they have that struggle of, I don't want to kill them, but we have to.
Great, last question.
And were you in our service?
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
First of all, I just want to say that Clone Wars was canceled, and we didn't know it was going to be canceled. So when, season 5 ended, it was just as heartbreaking for us as it was for all of you. I mean, we were still making a show. And I think we all secretly thought that the show would never come back. I know I did.
Even Dave said
Yeah.
it would never come back.
Yeah, so for it to come back was truly a gift, and one that we took very, very seriously. In terms of, that's a really deep question. In terms of how Ahsoka and Rex handled it, I mean, I think they handled it was so well done for their characters. That's exactly how Ahsoka would have handled it, because of how much she loved the clones. I think it really showed their relationship. And also, Tales of the Jedi, let's not leave that out. How heartbreaking that was, that Anakin saved her life, and prepared her for that moment all along. So, I feel like I'm not answering this question.
To me, there was a two-part reaction for me. One, after, as they said, they smashed the creative pipeline, and this will not flow again. And so we just thought it was done. But when they said, the first reaction was, oh my gosh, they're bringing it back and we're going to finish it. And the second reaction was, oh my God, they brought it back and we're going to finish it. It was such a devastating conclusion that to this tragic and earth-shattering, galaxy-shattering destination. But it was such a dark delight to be able to do it so fully and so beautifully and so well.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Ashley. Go ahead.
Well, finish that thought, because then I want to go back to the first part of this.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm sure you remember this, Dee. We were at Big Rock with Dave Filoni in the commissary, and we were like season 3 or 4, and he was explaining to us thoughts he had of ways he could finish all of this. And all I could think of when they said they were bringing it back is, I wonder if that, because I knew what he had told us, and it was so wonderful. And it was a lot of that. It was tying it all together. So it was just beautiful to be a part of it. But you guys were at San Diego with the, and you got to actually be part of that announcement.
Yeah.
Feel that.
Yeah, the energy was incredible. I don't think people really understood what we were saying until, like we said, we're coming back. Because we had this big trailer and everyone was just kind of like, yeah, all right. We were like, no, we're coming back, come on.
Yeah, we were in just as much disbelief, truly. But to go back to the first part of your question, there you are. You know, I think we talked a bit about mental health, and thank you for sharing about PTSD. You know, I had the chance to do a little digital series called Star Wars Mindful Matters, and you know, mental health is something that affects all of us. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And we should be talking about our mental health as openly as we've done here today. So thank you, because the more that people like yourself stand up in front of a microphone and say, I have dealt with PTSD, you just helped countless people in this audience. So thank you. These stories can help so many people. And yes, there's professional help. And you know, if you need it, if you're able to find someone that can truly help you professionally. But some people don't have professional help at their fingertips. Turn to your favorite stories, especially Star Wars. Star Wars, to me, is a story of hope. It's a story that there's always light, even in the darkness, and even if you can't see it. So sometimes the best way to help yourself and help your mental health is to turn to your favorite stories and to your favorite characters, and then discuss it with your family, discuss it with your friends. If you can't find the words to share with someone, here's how I'm feeling, but you see a character or a story that explains, show that, like you said, to your family. Say, you know what? I can't really explain it to you, but watch this scene. This is what's going on in my head. Or like Dee said, you know, that conversation, say, you know, I'm different. And this scene will help explain to you how I feel. These shows can be medicine. They truly can be the best therapy, they can be the best medicine. And that's why we take our jobs so seriously. So thank you for sharing your story. Thank all of you for coming this way. Let's get a selfie. Let's get a selfie.